So today, my video is going to be a little different. Actually, it's going to be a lot different, and it might be long, and after you hear what I have to say, if you listen to this whole thing, you might think to yourself, no shit, like, that's a no-brainer. But the thing is, I think what I have to say is important, and if you want to listen, then go ahead and listen. But what I'm doing, I really think a lot of people need to hear. Or what I have to say, I think a lot of people should hear. So basically, I take a sociology class, and we were all assigned a project. And for the longest time, I really couldn't think of what I wanted to do. I knew a general idea of what I wanted to do, but I couldn't really piece it together, what I wanted to say, what I wanted it to be about. And at first, I thought maybe I wanted it to be about transgender and transsexual children. And the reason I chose this is because back in my senior year of psychology, we watched this video, and it was about these children. And it was like a 2020 episode, and it was about these children that are transgender, and they accept themselves, and they're currently they're either going through the process of working on seeing if they can eventually at some point have a sex change, or else they're just learning to accept themselves as who they are, and they're coming out with the fact that they're not happy with how they were born because they're trapped inside the wrong body. And I think it's a pretty big message, just because, I mean, originally I was thinking to myself, well, here we are, we're just recently starting to accept lesbians, gays, bis, but yet we still don't really accept transgenders or transsexuals. But when I really thought about it, we don't really accept anybody. And the more I thought about what I wanted to do for my project, I realized that I wanted it to be about acceptance. And that may sound stupid, but I think it's important. So let me start off by saying that when I watched the 2020 video, a huge person that had an impact on me in that video was this girl named Jazz. And so I'm not going to say the whole story because it's her story, it's not my place to share it, but Jazz was born a boy, and at the age of 2, she realized, or you could say he realized, that that's not who he wanted to be, that he didn't feel like he was a boy, he was meant to be a girl, and he knew that. And so slowly his parents allowed him, they accepted the fact that he was unhappy with who he was unhappy with how he was born, and they allowed him to go through the process and become a her. Now, Jazz hasn't had a sex change or anything, so she is technically a transgender child. But the important message that I learned from that is the fact that she knows who she wants to be, and she knows what makes her happy. And the thing is, I think I know who I want to be. I know what makes me happy. And it's a huge, important thing to me. I feel like the majority of people feel like they're not accepted for themselves, and they want to be accepted. But I think it really starts with yourself. You can't be accepted by others if you don't accept yourself. And so that's what this video is about. And what I have to say, that's kind of like my intro. And like I said, this is probably going to be a little bit of a long video. But I think what I have to say is important. So basically, I get asked a lot of questions by my younger friends who are anywhere from the age of 14 to even 16 or 17, and they tend to ask me a lot Shauna, how do I fit in with people, or I feel like nobody likes me, or I don't know what to do. And the thing is, I really don't think you should change yourself to be happy, to fit in with other people. You should be you. Who you are is important, and you're never going to be happy trying to be somebody else. People are going to constantly tell you who you should be and what you should do and how you can better yourself, but they're not you. And if you try and be that person that they've created for you to be, you're not going to be happy. You're never going to feel accepted, because you're not going to be accepted. You might be accepted by them, but you're not going to be accepted by others, and you're not going to be accepted by yourself. And in order to really be happy, you need to be accepted by yourself. And the thing is, society's created these norms, and they basically tell us how we should be and how we should act, and I don't agree with that. I think that if you want to be that kid that's dancing on the side of the street, you be that kid. That's who I am. If you want to be the kid who wears your socks inside out, wear your socks inside out. If you want to wear 2 different colored shoes, wear 2 different colored shoes. If you want to walk backwards, walk backwards. I think that we're all so focused on fitting in with people, we lose ourselves. And when you lose yourself, you can't truly be happy. You're going to go through this problem of constantly thinking, nobody likes me. And the thing is, nobody is going to like you because you don't like you. And I know it sounds repetitive. I keep saying that in order for other people to like you, you need to like yourself. And it sounds stupid, but it's true. Basically, it took me a while to realize this because, well, I don't really want to share my story, and I'm not going to, but I went through a lot, especially like sophomore year of high school, and before that I always thought I knew who I was. And it took sophomore year of high school to kind of realize that that person, I wasn't happy with who I was, and I didn't feel accepted by others because I was constantly feeling like I was broken down. I was constantly feeling like people were telling me, like, you're not being who you should be, and this is how you should be. And the thing is, in a way, I was being myself, but I was so focused on how everybody else was saying I should be, I couldn't be happy. And when you can't be happy with yourself, nobody can be happy with you. So I kind of realized what I needed to do for myself, and I realized who I was as a person. And when I realized that, everything changed. I became happier. And I realized that I didn't need to try and please everybody else, but those who really cared about me and those who really accepted me, they would take me in. And they would consider me a friend. And more than just that, but I don't need people in my life who don't like me for me. I don't want to be surrounded by people who are different than me and they don't see things the way I do. And that sounds selfish. I'm not saying that I don't accept those people that are different from me. That's fine. You can go and be you. I'm happy for you as long as you're happy. But if you're going to try and criticize me and you're going to try and break me down and you're going to try and tell me who I should like, what I should wear, how I should look, then I don't want to be with you because that's not who I am, and I don't think you should change me as a person. So if you want to like the same sex, the opposite sex, you do that. If you want to like somebody who's a different skin color than you, then you should be able to do that. If you personally feel like you're not happy with yourself, you should make that change. And most of us go through life constantly wondering who we are. And it took Jazz at the age of 2 to realize she was unhappy with herself. She figured out who she was at such an early age, and I think that's incredible. Most of us go through life constantly wondering, am I at that point yet? Have I figured out who I am? And I think that if we slowly start to accept ourselves and realize that we don't need to make others happy, then everything's going to change. Slowly things will fall into place. Now, I'm not saying that we should automatically accept everybody. Like, for example, if what you do that brings you joy brings harm to somebody else, like, say, I don't know, being a serial killer, then no, I don't accept you. Nobody should accept you. That's not right. But I mean, if it's a little thing, like, as I said earlier, if you like somebody that's the same sex as you, then you like somebody that's the same sex as you. That's not harming you. It's not harming anybody else. That's fine. If you want to, I don't know, if you want to put on 15 pounds, put on 15 pounds. If you want to lose 15 pounds, lose 15 pounds. As long as you're not harming yourself in a way that you go to extremes, then I think that's fine. If you want to change your hair color, if you want to go blonde, brunette, red, purple, then do that. Who cares? You should do what makes you happy. If you want to dress as a boy for a day, dress as a boy for a day. We're all stuck in this thought process that we need to fit in, and we don't, because we're all different, and that's what makes us so special, is the fact that we're all so different and we're all incredible because of that. If we were all the same, then everything would be boring. And I don't want to live a boring life, and I don't want to live an unhappy life. And basically, I just think that to all those people that keep asking me, how can I be accepted? You can't force people to accept you. You just need to accept yourself. And when you really accept yourself, you'll be happy. And when you're happy, everybody's gonna realize the difference. They're gonna realize that you're radiant. They're gonna realize how incredible of a person you are. They're gonna realize that those quirks, those little things that make you so different, that's what makes you special. People don't have flaws. We're all so focused on, well, your flaw is this and your flaw is that. But we don't have flaws. We just have things that make us different. And those little things that make us different, that's what makes us us. That's what makes us important. That's what makes us who we are. And we need to stop focusing on trying to change it or trying to become this perfect image, because there's no such thing as perfect. And if you sit there and you constantly think to yourself, well, how can I be like this person, or how can I be like that person, then once again, as I said, you're not being yourself, because you're trying to be somebody else, and you're not going to be happy trying to be somebody else. So I think that the first step in order to really accept yourself is maybe you need to sit back and you need to look at yourself and you need to think, is this who I want to be? And then after you learn to accept yourself, you're going to learn to accept others. You're going to learn that there's so many things that make you different and make you incredible, and you're going to look at everything and everybody else and what makes them different, and you're going to realize how incredible they are. And your whole thought on everything's going to change. And when your thought on things change and you realize who you are and you realize who everybody else is, you're going to be happy to know that we're all so different. But that's what I have to say is I think that in order to accept ourselves, or in order to accept others, we need to accept ourselves. And once we learn to accept ourselves, we can be happy. And this may seem like a really lame video, or maybe it seems like the dumbest sociology project ever, because I have a feeling my sociology class will be watching this since I have to present it. But I think it's important. I think it's important that we learn that we're all different, and you can't really change that. I mean, that's what makes us unique, and that's what makes us special. And I think that there's so many problems with our society because we're constantly thinking, well, that person doesn't fit in because they look this way or they think this way, and that's not right. I mean, whether you're American, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're African American, whether you're Asian, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're a boy, you're a girl, whether you feel like you're supposed to be a boy, whether you're supposed to be a girl, whether you feel like you're straight or you're gay or you're bisexual or you're pansexual. There's so many different things. It's just the same as like saying I'm blonde or she's brunette, or we're all just so different, and we need to stop categorizing ourselves, because the thing is, we're all humans. And that's an important thing to get across. We're all human. We're all different, but we're all the same in the sense that we're all human. And as I keep saying, you need to accept yourself before anyone else can accept you. And then you'll be happy. But, yeah. Alright.